Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. A very good morning, and I believe the sessions are going fine. Uh, I'll be dealing with the acronym JUNCS, JUNCS. This was coined by none other than our President, National President 2021, Dr. Piyush Gupta and team, the task force which was appointed by Central IAP in 2018 to promote guidelines. Friends, the United Nations have declared 2016 to 2025 as the decade of action on nutrition. What was alarming was something around 50 billion children are wasted. On the other side, 42 million children are overweight or obese. So this was the SDG goals. That nutrition is the heart of the SDGs. 17 goals, as you know, and the brown ones are the ones which are achieving these goals will promote, reach out to nutrition. The other ones, if you reach the goals, the nutrition will be supported. So any what all said and done, nutrition is the heart of the SDGs, and every $1 invested gives some $16 in return. This was the estimate by WHO. And nutrition is essential for the success of all SDGs. And non-communicable diseases, the silent killer, as you all have been talking about, kill around 41 million people each year. That's equivalent to something around 71% of all deaths globally. That unhealthy diet is strongly linked with the NCDs. That is the crux. And unhealthy diet, food habits, like they contribute accentuated with unhealthy lifestyles. They lead on to cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, chronic respiratory diseases, cancer, and whatnot. So all the major killers are around. And the alarm bells are ringing. See just this data by Center for Science and Environment conducted in 13,200 children. And it's suggested that the fast food industry is expanding at a rate of 40% every year. And a few years back, every time when we travel to some Ooty or Kodaikanal from Cochin, on the highway, we used to see every year some 10 or 15 fast food hubs coming up, new fast food hubs coming up. So as you know, the rate of expansion of the fast food industry is so much alarming. And what they have noted is some around 53% consume these fast foods at least once a day. And 93% of the children eat packaged food. This is an alarming figure, and of course, very much great news for the fast food industry. So to address these needs, Indian Academy of Pediatrics and other agencies, even the the government of India felt the need to develop some guidelines related to consumption of food and drinks for children. So many thoughts are there, the right thoughts are there, but still their uniform standard guidelines were not around. And Indian Academy of Pediatrics, under the stewardship of Dr. Piyush Gupta on the farm, we have framed as a guideline. This task force was appointed by the IAP, Central IAP in 2018. 2019, they came out with the guidelines. It was published in Indian Pediatrics, the guidelines on fast food, junk food, sugar sweetness, and energy drinks. The foremost task in front of them was to find out an appropriate terminology for the unhealthy foods. Terminologies, there are too many terminologies, but it should be acceptable to the lay population as well as a pediatrician. It should be catchy to remember. At the same time, it should be a comprehensive one. It should cover all the aspects of an unhealthy food. The existing terminologies and their pitfalls. We had the fast food, which has been around the corner for maybe for decades. But then fast foods doesn't cover everything. Cut foods and salads. You see the cut foods and salads, they are prepared very fast. They don't come under the fast food. And should be more focused on the food rather than the time taken to prepare the meal. So fast foods are obsolete. Junk food, it was coined in 1972 by the microbiologist Michael Jobson. But again, junk foods had some issues. Junk food, actually, the definition comes as little or limited presence of proteins, vitamins, phytochemicals, and minerals. But then, some unhealthy foods and drinks deficient in micronutrients and minerals, they were being marketed after being fortified by these nutrients. This was the way to circumvent these deficiencies, and the industry found out this loophole, and thus many of them got excluded from this definition of junk food. So that also will not be viable. Then we had this terminology defined by WHO as well as proposed by the Ministry of Women and Child Development in 2015. This was in vogue. Even now, it's used in many scientific parlors. The HFSS foods. Foods high means H in fats, salts, and sugars. The FSS. But it does not include foods with harmful contents like caffeine, food additives, or foods cooked in recycled oil. And it was unlikely to be popular in the lay public because they don't remember the HFSS if you say every time. So we need some other diet. Then the ultra processed foods. This was actually based on a classification from the NOVA, based on the type of processing. So these are all foods which are highly palatable and they are characterized by a good pleasantness and they can be stored for a long time. And then the mechanically separated meat or soya proteins are added. So this was another type of junk, unhealthy food. Then we had the CCED, the caffeine containing energy drinks. You know, the Red Bull, the Cloud9, or so many sweetened, sugar sweetened beverages are there. The high energy food drinks are there. So having seen all these things, we needed a term. The committee felt that there was a term to be all inclusive, and they came out with what is called as a JUNCS, JUNCS. This was a acronym. The J stands for junk food, FSS, low in the high fat, salt, sugar, nutrients, but they are low in micronutrients, protein, and fiber. The U stands for the ultra processed foods like Lay's and other items which is there in the market. The packaged processed foods, they contain high amount of trans fat. Friends, this trans fat is a major danger for in our system. It is actually from the hydrogenation of the vegetable oils, like you see in vanaspati, etc. And they have got a very bad effect on the lipophilic metabolism and refined sugars and additives. So J, U is the ultra processed foods. Then the N stands for the nutritionally inappropriate foods. That is like the tea, coffee, health drinks in growing children. Like when you say Pediasure or other things, the tea, coffee, they are all nutritionally inappropriate for small children. C stands for the carbonated, caffeinated, colored foods. So these are all the Pepsi, Cola, and everything. And S stands for the sugar or sugar sweetened beverages, SSBs. This is as much as 6 to 20 teaspoons sugar in 200 ml of these beverages. Let's take a Red Bull and other the high calorie sugar contents. So that is the JUNCS, the acronym. So having seen this, let us have a look at the burden of the problem. The global data indicates that the problem is as much as around 46 to even UK is 50.4%, the junk food consumption. There is some other multicentric study has put it as around 51%. Then what is the situation in India? Our Indian data seems almost the same, 53%. The Center for Science and Environment, they have put the same study has put us around 53%. Other many studies agree with that. And the common items, even I believe a nursery school child will be able to name them better than us. Samosas, patties, burgers, Manchurian, noodles, pizza, chips, chocolate, whatnot, everything. And even a child who is 2 years old is very familiar with all these names. So the factors leading to increased consumption, just have a look at it, the favorable demographics. The youngsters get attracted to the fast increasing urbanization, growing middle class, the purchasing power is better, anybody can power and everybody has got a card with them. Nuclear family, the no one at home to cook and serve, the children are alone at home, they come home, they open the house and they start eating whatever is in the morning or whatever fast food has been prepared. And this was in one the revolution, more earlier itself it was there, but with the lockdown in swing, full swing, the online delivery and digitalization, and this is the mind-boggling figure is there. Platforms like Swiggy had a revenue of 37 crores with 15 million users per month. This was a figure in 2017-18 and could have been even doubled by the time the lockdown is there now with the people staying back at home over the last 1 year. And another one is the exotic is the rule. They have children who would like to experiment everything. The new item is advertised. They would like to experiment with them, higher experimentation and changing consumer preferences. Harmful effects of junks, we are all familiar, but just let us recapitulate just for the completion, because you know that sodium and other nutritional quality of diet, the sodium and other contents, because salt is there. Of course, the protein, fiber, potassium, minerals, and vitamin, they are decreased. The nutritional quality is very poor. Overweight and obesity is there, very much there. Of course, it is bound to happen. This cardiometabolic risk, especially with ultra-processed diet, significant predictor of deranged lipid profile. And again, this is something very important. Even for me, it was a new something which the evidences are pouring it like anything. Unhealthy diets, they affect the mental state and brain function through oxidative stress processes, inflammation, stresses. So apart from the physical the disturbances, that the children are exposed or are in fact prone for hyperactivity, inattention disorders, and the conduct and oppositional disorders. So this also has to be considered when we talk about junks, especially counseling the parents. This is another one, the caffeinated energy drinks. They have got a lot of examples, even for the many reports are there, tachycardia followed by arrhythmias, supraventricular, ventricular, and even death has been reported for the large consumption of these caffeinated energy drinks like Red Bull. And the caffeine content is actually, this is a figure, and this is the recommendation is hardly less than 100 ppm parts per million, whereas the caffeine content declared by the manufacturer itself is around 300, 320, 300, you can see 100, then everything is having a much more quantity than allowed. IAP practice guidelines are there. This was for the children, parents. This was by the task force committee. They said the fast food, junk, ultra food should be limit consumption of food not more than once per week. This is actually the pre-COVID era. The COVID era has changed a lot. Do not mix meals with the TV viewing. Endorse IAP. Freshly cooked home foods should be always preferred. And this is something which is very important. The lunchbox culture has to be encouraged. The children should be given lunch, has to be given proper food prepared at home, should be taken to the schools, and they should not be allowed to buy food from the school canteen and take it from there. And junk should not be offered as a reward or gift to the children. Fruit juices is this is a very important which I would like you to take home. Whole foods should always be advised, or fruit juices. The whole foods, they contain, so of course they contain fructose to a good amount, but they contain enough of the positive ingredients, like lot of fibers are there and lot of, I think, the minerals are there, and that will actually retard the absorption of the release the absorption of carbohydrates. They will delay the gastric emptying, and they will negate the effects of certain amount, the effects of fructose in the fruit juices. So whole fruits are such, and also when they eat the whole fruits, they enjoy the fruits, they see the fruits, the color, shape, the visual recognition, and even the resistance when the chewing, and everything is there. So child is learning as a wholesome learning is there. Fresh juices should not be offered to children below 2 years. Water should be encouraged as the best drink, and 125 ml per day should be the one between 2 to 5 years, and below 2 years, no fresh juices should be given. And if at all is given, it's as fresh juices. Caffeinated drinks should not be given at any age group. Even if you take tea, should be given 5 to 9 years, 100 ml, and about 10 to 18 years, 200 ml is the recommendation for tea. Policy recommendations from IAP for schools, labeling, advertising is support traffic light coding of food, which is coming up next. Ban on sale of junk foods in school canteens, safe and portable drinking water, and even the celebrity marketing of the with the endorsing of this fast foods has to be stopped. But then that is not within our hands. The traffic light coding is very important. Traffic is you can see the red, yellow, as well as green. Red ones are eat very occasionally. The stop ones, yellow, eat some every day, some of them every day, and the green ones eat as much as you like. So this is called as a traffic light coding of the foods. And the NIN, National Institute of Nutrition 2011 food pyramid stands very well valid even now. Eat sparing the burger, pizza, oils and fat, eat moderately, fruits and juice, vegetables, eat liberally, cereals and millets, calcium adequately. This is the NIN 2011 food pyramid. And food pyramid and my plate, this is a rainbow diet. Rainbow diet is what you can see, everything will be there. The 7 colors are there. You can see the orange grains are there, the green vegetables are there, the red fruits are there, the milk is there as the blue, and the meat and beans are there. So this is the rainbow diet of the my plate of plate. And this is the promote rainbow diet and traffic signal approach. Learn to read food labels. That is very important. Many a time we hesitate, or children, the parents hesitate to learn the food labels. So that is very important to learn the food labels and nutrition facts. And this is again the traffic code lighting, which I have mentioned earlier. My last take home, this is the 5210 rule. In a day, one day, you have to eat 5 or more fruits and vegetables in a day. 2 hours or less recreational screen time, because nowadays with the digital, with the online education, we cannot keep away from the screen, but recreational screen time to be 2 hours or less, 1 hour or more of physical activity, and 0 of sugary drinks, more water and low fat intake. This is called a 5210 rule for a day. And the summary of junks, what I have enunciated now, nutrition is at the heart of the SDG success. 17 goals of SDG, nutrition has to be appropriate. Junks as a comprehensive term proposed by our committee for the Indian Academy of Pediatrics. The components of junks, as you know, the junk, J stands for J, U for the ultra processed food, N for nutritionally inadequate, C for the carbonated, and S for the sweet and sugar beverages. Harmful effects, especially on the hyperactivity disorders. Practice guidelines for children, parents, and pediatricians, and the policy recommendations. The traffic light coding, the red, yellow, as well as green. Green should be inadequate. The rainbow diet has to be always promoted. Ban in school premises for about junk foods, and potable drinking water is an important element here, because when we always recommend water, we should provide enough water as available in the schools and the premises. So, well, friends, I'm so happy that I could present this junks with you, and this is just an overview of JUNCS and not the other junk JUNK. It's a comprehensive term, and I'm placing my gratitude to Dr. Piyush Gupta and team of Indian Academy of Pediatrics who coined this very comprehensive term JUNCS to be shared with the parents and the children as well as among our fraternity. Thank you very much, team IJPP, for the opportunity to be there with you today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that informative lecture on junks. Now we go on to the question answer session. First, to Professor Shefali Golati, madam. In a child admitted with fever,